What if I told you that sin isn't just a religious invention, but something you already experience every single day? The Bible tells us about it, but ultimately we all know it in our hearts. You feel it when you lie and justify it, when you do what you hate and then do it again, when you know what is right but you choose what is easy. And yet, many people will say that sin was just created to control people, and hell the exact same. But think about that for a second. If sin isn't real, why do you feel guilty when no one is watching? If hell isn't real, why does justice matter so much to us? This isn't about religion controlling people. This is about a reality that confronts all of us. Before we go any further, we need to define our terms, because this conversation is often confused before it even begins. When many people or atheists talk about sin, they mean arbitrary rules imposed by religion and a tool to manipulate behavior through guilt. When they hear hell, they think a fear tactic, a cosmic punishment chamber to control the masses. And when they hear religion, they think systems of power, institutions designed to dominate people. But Christianity means something very different. Sin is lawlessness, but it's not just rule breaking. It is a distortion of our will, a turning away from what is good, true, and life giving. Hell is not merely punishment, it is the natural end of a world that rejects God, the source of all goodness. And religion, at its core, is not control, it is the reordering of the human will back toward the truth. So the question is not, was sin invented to control people? The real question is, does the sin, as Christians know it, describe something real about the human condition? Let's step away from religion for a moment. Look at human experience. Every person, everywhere knows this tension. I should do this, but I don't want to. I shouldn't do that, but I do. This isn't just a Christian idea. This is the human condition. Even philosophers outside Christianity recognize it. The divided self, the fractured will. You don't need a Bible to know that greed destroys people, lust enslaves, pride blinds, and hatred corrodes the soul. We don't just do wrong things, we become shaped by them. That's what sin is. Not external control, but an internal corruption. And if that's true, then what is hell? Hell is not an arbitrary punishment. It is the end result of a world that continually rejects what is good. If you spend your life rejecting truth, rejecting love, rejecting God, what remains? Not because God forces it, but because you chose it. Now here's something even more interesting. Across all of history, across all cultures, human beings have always known something is drastically wrong. And more importantly, they've always tried to fix it. Through rituals, sacrifices, laws, philosophies, self-discipline, meditation, moral systems, and many more. Why? Because deep down humanity knows we are not as we should be. No society says, you're perfect, do whatever you want. And even those that do make that a law that governs people. Instead, every culture says, become better, purify yourself, seek truth, align with the good. However they would define that. That's not control. That's us having recognition. Recognition that something is broken and needs healing. But here's the problem. Every system tells us to fix ourselves. And yet, we can't. Just look at human history. We try, we fail, and we repeat. And this is where Christ is completely different. Jesus does not come saying, try harder. He comes saying, you cannot save yourself, but I can save you. He doesn't deny sin. He exposes it fully, but not to control you, to free you by giving you the truth. Because the truth is, whether you like it or not, you are already controlled. Not necessarily by religion, but by your desires, your impulses, your fears, and your habits. Christ doesn't enslave you. In fact, He comes to break your chains. And how? Not through domination, but through truth, goodness, beauty, sacrifice, and love. He calls you to something radically difficult and different. Deny yourself, take up your cross, love your enemies, and forgive those who hurt you. That's not control. That's liberation from the lowest parts of ourselves. Because real freedom is not doing whatever you want. Real freedom is becoming what you were made to be. Every human being has a will, and that will is always moving in a direction, toward God or away from Him. If your will is aligned with truth, goodness, and Christ, you are being shaped into life. But if your will, your choice, turns inward toward yourself, toward lesser things, God does something terrifying. He allows it because love does not force. And as it has been said, it is a small thing to cast down what is already falling. Hell is not God dragging you somewhere. It's God allowing you to go where you have chosen. So let's return to the original claim. Sin was invented to control people. No, sin was named because it is real. You feel it, you fight it, you fail against it. Another word for this can be wickedness. And every system in history has tried to cure it. But only one claims not just to diagnose, but to offer real healing. Christianity does not begin with control. It begins with truth that should control your life. You are not as you should be, and neither is the world. But the answer is not fear. It is not manipulation. It's not blind obedience, but it is obedience and submission to a person. And that person is Jesus Christ. And this is only rational because He's proven Himself by dying and rising again 3 days later. Jesus Christ, not calling you into comfort, but into transformation. Not calling you into ease, but into life, to love, to faith, and to hope. And the question is no longer, is religion controlling me? The question is, what is ruling my will? Is it me? Is it anything else in this world? Or is it God Almighty? Because whatever it is, that is where you are going. God bless.